Almost any young girl will tell you how much she admires the Disney princesses. Who can resist the tiaras, beautiful long gowns, high heels, and the opportunity to meet Prince Charming? But did you know that the majority of these princesses have human counterparts? And they might not have the ultimate fairy tale-like life that you grew up with. Continue watching to find out if your favorite Disney princess made the cut. We've compiled a list of 10 of the darkest real-life counterparts to some of Disney's most famous princesses. Number 10. Cinderella, Rhodopis. Cinderella, who worked as a slave for her stepmother and stepsisters, eventually fell in love with her Prince Charming and achieved success. This fairy tale sister is well known for having a midnight curfew during which she magically transforms back into her ragged clothes. Rhodopis, a Greek servant, is said to have inspired Cinderella. Rhodopis married Egypt's king, and the eagle was the magical animal that assisted the king or pharaoh in his search for Rhodopis. Strabo wrote this Egyptian Cinderella story and published it in Geography, Book 17.33. The main difference between Rhodopis and Cinderella is that she did not have an evil stepsister, but they do share the slipper and the quest to find the woman who owned it. The original story tells of an eagle stealing Rhodopis' sandal while she was washing. The bird tossed the sandal into the king's lap, which piqued his interest. While not identical, it may have been enough to inspire the later authors of the Cinderella story we all know, glass slipper and all. Number 9. Snow White, Margaretha von Waldeck. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a fantastic Disney fairy tale adaptation of the Grimm brothers story, but evidence proved that the brothers were inspired by a real sovereign beauty. Margaretha von Waldeck, a German countess born in 1533, was the royal beauty. She was the second daughter of Philip IV, Count of Waldeck-Wildungen. Margaret was described as having ruby lips and fair skin, similar to Snow White, but with blonde hair. She, like Snow White, lost her mother when she was young, and her father married Katharina von Hatzfeld, a vain queen who enjoyed looking in the mirror. Researchers believe this is what inspired the saying "mirror, mirror on the wall." Katharina, like the evil stepmother, despised Snow White. As a result, when Margaretha turned 16, she was sent to Brussels. This is also where the royal beauty allegedly met her prince, the future king of Spain, Philip II. Margaretha's fame made Katharina envious, and the couple fell madly in love. Margaretha became ill and died in 1554. There were rumors that Spanish authorities or Katharina had poisoned her. Another parallel is the poison apple. This element could have been inspired by a man's revenge gift of apples to children. He despised the fact that his orchard's apples were being stolen. Number 8. Moana, Victoria Kowikiu Kailani Lunalilo Kalaninuya Hilapalapa Cleghorn. Moana is another well-known Disney princess who is not your typical princess. She won't be seen in tiaras, long gowns, or high heels. Instead, she is proud to be a representative of her Polynesian tribe. While there was no direct link between the two, speculation suggested Princess Kailani influenced Moana. She was Princess Miriam Likelike's daughter and the last heir to the Hawaiian throne as the niece of King Kalakaua and Queen Liliuokalani. Aside from the Hawaiian setting, what makes Moana similar to Princess Kailani is that they are both warriors who fight for justice and the truth. Princess Kailani had to accept responsibility even before she turned 18 because her rivals overturned and destroyed the Hawaiian kingdom. Princess Kailani was always known for being loved as she fought for her nation's rights and justice, which was heavily depicted in Moana, leading many to believe that the film was inspired by the former Hawaiian princess. Number 7. Jasmine, Badroulbadour. Princess Jasmine, Aladdin's love, was inspired by Princess Badroulbadour. In two historical stories, she was Aladdin's wife, 1001 Nights and the Story of Aladdin or The Wonderful Lamp. Princess Badroulbadour, as opposed to Jasmine, was a Far Eastern princess in these original stories. The Arabic word for full moons within full moons is Badroulbadour. One of the most obvious reasons why Disney changed Badroulbadour's name to Jasmine is that it is easier to pronounce and spell. Number 6. Rapunzel, Saint Barbara. Rapunzel is yet another masterpiece story by the Grimm brothers, and who can forget this Disney princess? Did you know there was someone who had been imprisoned? Saint Barbara is the woman behind Rapunzel. Barbara lived in the 3rd century. She was a holy virgin, and many wanted to come to her tall tower and ask for marriage. Barbara refused to entertain men and dedicated her life to God. Barbara built a window for the Blessed Trinity in her tower, and her father drew his sword when he found out. Barbara prayed to God, and luckily, a hole in the tower opened up, allowing her to escape. Her father discovered her and beheaded her not long after. Barbara's father died shortly after being struck by lightning, a somber departure from the beloved Disney adaptation. Number 5. Belle, Catherine Gonsalves. Beauty and the Beast, created in 1740 by Gabrielle Suzanne Barbat de Villeneuve, is based on real-life historical events and does not include magical spells or talking cups and pots. Catherine Gonsalves, the daughter of a court servant, inspired Belle. Catherine de' Medici introduced her beast, Petrus Gonsalves. Petrus had werewolf syndrome, a rare form of hypertrichosis. He was criticized and treated as a spectacle because of his genetic condition, and he was sent as a gift to Henry II. Petrus only met Catherine on their wedding day. 4 of the couple's 7 children developed the same genetic condition. Number 4. Merida, Flora MacDonald. Princess Merida is another one-of-a-kind Disney princess. Indeed, the film Brave was inspired by several true events and details from Scottish history. Princesses in the 12th century Scotland wore thick cloaks and robes, similar to what Princess Merida wore in the film during battles and special occasions. Princess Merida also resembled Flora MacDonald, an activist and royal princess. Flora MacDonald helped Bonnie Prince Charlie escape, preventing her capture during the Battle of Culloden. She also became involved in the American Revolution. Flora and her husband, Alan MacDonald, moved to North Carolina in 1774 to run a plantation. Flora MacDonald was outspoken in her support for the Scots. She exudes bravery and loyalty, earning the trust of the Scots. Number 3. Tiana, Leah Chase. Tiana from The Princess and the Frog was inspired by Leah Chase, and Disney did not disappoint. Leah Chase was born in 1923 and was one of New Orleans' most famous chefs. Dooky Chase, a well-known restaurant in the heart of New Orleans, was owned by Leah Chase. Leah Chase worked as a waitress before becoming a famous chef. Things changed for her when she met her husband, Dooky. Leah turned her parents' small sandwich shop into a well-known restaurant. When asked how she did it, she always replied that it was her passion. It's simple to succeed when you're doing something you enjoy. So, when Disney was looking for inspiration for African-American Princess Tiana, Leah Chase came to mind right away. Number 2. Pocahontas, Pocahontas. The movie Pocahontas may have been a family favorite, but its true meaning is tragic. Amanuta and Matoka were the names of the real Pocahontas. When the names were combined, they meant flower between 2 streams. It's heartbreaking to learn that the real-life Pocahontas suffered greatly, the polar opposite of Disney's Pocahontas. John Smith in the film was also not the same as the man in real life. He was 27 years old and feared by young children such as Pocahontas. John reveled in breaking into tribal lands with a gun and stealing supplies and food. She never had a romantic relationship with Smith, but she may have communicated with him. Pocahontas was used as a go-between for her tribe and the English for some reason. For Pocahontas, the 1600s were the darkest years. Pocahontas, the chief's daughter, was kidnapped and used as a bargaining chip for food, which the English desperately needed. During her captivity, she converted to Christianity and denounced her people and their idolatry. Rebecca became her new name. She met and married John Rolfe there, and they had a son named Thomas before traveling to England. Unfortunately, she became ill and died in London. A far cry from the Disney princess who sang about the riverbend and spoke to trees. Number 1. Mulan, Hua Mulan. Hua Mulan, a brave female soldier who lived between AD 420 and AD 589 in the northern and southern dynasties, was the inspiration for the famous Mulan. Everything is nearly identical, especially since the original story revolves around Mulan disguised as a man in order to join the army. The story is based on a 12th century poem that was probably inspired by folktales from the 4th and 5th centuries. Mulan disguised herself as a male warrior in the film to prevent her sickly father from joining the battle, and she was never found out because death was the ultimate punishment for this action. There is no mention of an elderly or sick father in the original, only that there are no sons. Mulan wanted nothing more than to return to her family after her victory. Her army colleagues were taken aback when she finally dressed as a woman. The poem's final lines nicely express this sentiment. The male hare wildly kicks its feet, the female hare has shifty eyes, but when a pair of hares run side by side, who can distinguish whether I in fact am male or female? So, guys, that was it for this video. What did you think about the video? Let us know in the comments section below. If you are new to our channel, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell to get notified about our latest videos. Thanks for watching.